3 mistakes we made when we bought our first house.
Coming up next on Real Estate Dirt. So, I would say that the biggest thing that we did was we assumed that we just didn't qualify and we were going to
That's
go
true.
buy another, or not go buy, we were going to go rent another house in Naperville or apartment, whatever the case may be. So we just assumed. We never actually spoke to a lender. We never investigated. We never did any research. We just assumed based on, I don't know, we thought we probably didn't make enough money, probably thought our credit wasn't good enough.
Both, yeah.
Probably both, right?
As a matter of fact, when you came to me and said that we should investigate buying a house, I was like, what?
Like, we can't buy a house. And I think a lot of people think credit score, well, just so you know, 580 and up is the credit score that qualifies you for a mortgage. And we had to go, what prompted us to even investigate whether we could or couldn't qualify for a home loan. I went to go tour an apartment in North Naperville, and the rental lady said, why are you going to pay all this rent? Did you ever think about buying a house? I mean, I didn't rent that apartment and we bought a house. So had she not said that to me, I don't know what we would have done. But that's what prompted it, because I said to her, I'm like, there's no way. She's like, yes, you should at least check. I think the advice is you should at least check. And even if you don't qualify right now, I'll tell you that our preferred lender, Casey at Allied First Bank, she can tell you what you need to do. I mean, what if there were just a few things you need to do and in 6 months or a year you could be ready? Even if it was 2 or 3 years, fine. But at least you're going to be ready at some point. You know what you need to do to accomplish it instead of just, I don't know, wandering through life and continuing to rent forever.
I mean, I can only speak for myself here that I felt like there's no way we were going to qualify to get a loan. There was no way.
So,
and then when we did, I was like, really? What?
Yes. So then here's number 2. When we freaked out and then it was like we could qualify for a loan, the next thought was, well, we still can't do this because we need a lot of money to put down. And we thought, where are we going to come up with that? We didn't have all this extra income, right? I mean, we were probably paycheck to paycheck for the most part.
Sure.
For sure.
At that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
And we thought big money down, and we put down 3.5%, and we did an FHA loan, and I think we even paid a point or two, which I didn't understand at the time, but we did. Still, it was a better decision than the rent I was about to pay, and then we stayed there for maybe 7 years.
No, the first house we stayed for like 3.5,
and turned it and made a profit.
Yep.
Which was way worth the point. The closing cost, all the things. Thank goodness we did it.
I mean, we ended up making enough money more money than we would have had we saved. We made more money than we would have saved. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Had we been renters.
Yes. Had we tried to save the amount of money we profit over selling their first house after just being there 3.5 years. Now, of course, everybody gets nervous, ups and downs of the market. Oh, what if? But there's always going to be ups and downs. Worst case is you hold on to the property long enough to ride out the ups and downs of the market. And that's true in anything. You're supposed to buy and wait instead of waiting to buy.
We ended up, if I recall correctly, profiting, like you said, but then we were able to pay off a bunch of debt and roll some of that profit into the next property.
Yeah, down payment on the next house, which brings us to number 3. Number 3 is, I would say we chose the first realtor who gave us the time of day. Because I think when you're a first-time home buyer, you're so excited that you even qualify, you can't believe it, you're in this whirlwind, you're coming up with things that you don't understand. I remember asking her several times what points were, and I really didn't get it. Let's just say, wasn't the best experience. And we didn't take the time to find somebody who would actually sit down and do a buyer consultation with us and set expectations. I think that's your word, right?
Yeah, set expectations. And I think if you've watched some of our earlier videos, you've seen how many realtors Nicole and I went through, which I think we went through like 5 or 6. before we actually became realtors ourselves, because each one was worse than the previous, and nobody set any expectations, and the first lady probably could have had multiple deals. Maybe we would have never even gotten into the business.
Maybe.
It's possible. But hey.
Yeah, it is what it is. So to review, top 3 mistakes that we made when we bought our first home was assuming that we wouldn't qualify, so we almost didn't buy the home at all. Assuming that you need a 20% down payment when we only needed 3.5%. And just so you know, there are conventional loans that are at 3% down, not just FHA. And then choosing the first realtor that came along. We deserved a buyer consult and expectations set, and we didn't get that. And I think we might have made different decisions, but it ultimately worked out, even if every deal is not exactly perfect, because nothing is perfect in real estate. At the end of the day, it was a much better investment, and we made more money than we ever could have saved when we turned around and sold that piece of property just 3.5 years later. So it is definitely better to own than rent in the long haul. You got to pay off a mortgage someday.
Well, I mean, that's the number one way to build wealth, is it not?
It is. So on that note, please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
And we'll see you next time on Real Estate Dirt.
Peace. You gonna do it?
What?
Peace.
Peace.
There we go.
Three mistakes we made when we bought our first house.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Are you recording?
Yes.
God.
Buying a house together and living together?
Yep.
Was that one of the mistakes? If I don't record, how else do I get the bloopers?
Nobody cares.
I'm waiting.
They could happen like in the middle of the thing, and then you can extract them.
Yep. That's how we do it. We just shove in the extractor and then we pull it out. It's like this big syringe.
I'm just doing it all. It's fine.